Hey guys, I'm Sean Calloway and I'm the new product development manager here at Anzo USA. And today I'm going to be walking you through the steps of installing our brand new LED headlights for the 19 and up Ranger. As you can see here, they are black with the crystal clear lens. They have our signature C-bar styling. We have a LED projector light here. We have a high beam LED reflector style here. And under here we have additional turn signal. So one other feature that we do have built into this is the initiation feature. And when you unlock it, it'll go through the process of the initiation. That way you can find your car in the parking lot, look cool, show off to your buddies. So let's go ahead and get the vehicle taken apart and get these installed. Tools needed: ratchet, 7mm socket, 8mm socket, 10mm socket, a 13mm socket, a T20 Torx, a T30 Torx, a pry bar, a 3/8 extension, and a Phillips screwdriver. Okay, so in order to remove your stock headlights, we're going to need to remove a few other things. We're going to start by removing this top shroud, then we're going to remove the grille, and then the next piece we're going to remove is this lower valance right here. Now for this top piece, we have 5 push tabs along the top, as well as 2 T30 bolts. So we'll go ahead and start with these push tabs. And these, I like to use this pry tool. You can use a flathead screwdriver too. So there's a little slot right here that you can pull up on, and the center will come out, and then you use the fork end, and the whole push tab will come right out. So we're gonna pull these out as well as those bolts, and then get this top shroud removed. Okay, so now that we've got those all removed, what we need to do is now pull this cover off. So this is along the front right here, it's held in with some tabs. So you can pull up here on the side, and with your little pry bar is just kind of come along and get it to where when you hear it snap, that means it released. And we'll just go right along here, just like so. You want to be gentle because you don't want to break any. So once that's released, go ahead and slide this out and set this off to the side. Okay, so now that we've got the top cover removed, we're ready to move on to the grille. But before we do the grille, we're going to remove this little air deflector. That's going to help us get to these, be able to get our arm down and remove the tabs on the bottom of this grille in order to pull it out. So for the grille part, we have 2 10mm bolts, one here and one here. For this inner air deflector, we have 4 7mm bolts. So straight down right here, and then there's another one here and here. So we're gonna get this air deflector out real quick so we can get to the bottom tabs on the grille and be able to get that removed. This is gonna be the easiest way in order to do that, so we don't break anything. Okay, so we've got the 4 bolts out of the air deflector and the 2 bolts out of the top of the grille. Now what we're going to want to do is just go ahead and lift up right here on the front of the grille. And then that'll give you a little bit of working space for this inner deflector because it is a hard plastic. Some of them aren't very forgiving and you don't want to crack that. But once you get it, the grille pulled forward a little bit, you can kind of work this down little by little to get it out on the sides. That way we can go ahead and pull this straight out, and that's what your air deflector will look like. Placement of the bolts are right here on the edges. Very tiny silver 7mm bolts. You're not going to want to, try not to lose those or anything because you want this to go back in because this directs all your airflow down and through here. So we're going to set this off to the side, and now is time for the grille. So here on the grille, if you look straight down on this front edge, we have plastic tabs that we got to go through, and we just got to push up and release them. And what you want to do is when you release them, you can use a screwdriver too to get them to release. But we're going to get these all pushed out. That way we can pull this grille out. Okay, so now we've got all 7 tabs released. Keep in mind there's one over here on the sides, and you'll have to pull apart this, not apart, but back this little rubber seal. I'll show it to you once we get this off. but you have one on either side, and then you have 5 along the bottom. And these tabs can be a little tricky sometimes. You just want to take your time so you're not breaking anything. But once you have them released, you can go ahead and just wiggle your grill on out just like this. And these are the tabs I'm talking about right here. So you have one up here, 5 along the bottom, and then one right here. And this holds the grill in. Now over here on the side, that for these side tabs, this rubber piece, you can pull it back to slide a screwdriver in right here and release this tab. That way the corners will release. And then just go along the bottom. So now we can set this off to the side and get on to moving the lower valance. Okay, so now that we've got the grill off, we can start concentrating on this lower valance. Now there's plenty of bolts that need to be taken out of this one. We've got 2 push tabs here. Those you'll just use your fork tool. We have 2 13 millimeter bolts, sorry about that, straight down back here on either side of the headlight. We have 5 arches. Now 3 of them you can see up here, and those have T30 Torx bolts. The other 2 are located right in down over here. You'll have to get up from underneath the vehicle and release those 2. They look just like these support arches right here. Next, what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to pull this top bolt right here. So we can pull back the fender liner and then pop out the reflector, get to the bolt here and the bolt that holds on this outer edge of the valance. We're gonna do all that for both sides. So that way we can pull this off. So let's go ahead and get started right over here at the reflector. Okay, so over here on this side, right after we take out this top bolt right here, now that's a plastic with the plastic screw in it. So you'll have to, sometimes they can be a little finicky. You'll use a Phillips screwdriver and just go real slow with them to get the center to pop out. That way you can pull them out. After you do that, you'll be able to pull back your fender liner in here. And to remove this reflector, because there is a screw right here behind this, what we'll need to do is just reach in back here, and then on this lower edge right here is the release tab. So you just push that in and pop it right out just like this. And we could just let this hang right here. But there's this bolt right here that we need to get to, and that's gonna be a T20. And once we pull this out, we'll be able to release the tab up here, which is the reason for pulling this screw out right here. So we can pull this back to get to the 7 millimeter bolt that is hidden right here. So we'll just pull this out. And again, this will be a little loose now, but what we want to do is we want to reach up a little bit further, and we just got to push on the pins that hold this in and apply a little bit of pressure. You don't want to apply too much because you don't want it to break. So, but once you do this, just like that, this will free up just like this. And now we can remove the 7 millimeter bolt from this side and that side and go ahead and pull off this front valance. Okay, so now that we've got all of our bolts out and everything's released on the sides, we can go ahead and pull this off. But before you do, if you have one of these style license plate holders, it bolts with 2 10 millimeters on the bottom and it just slides in. You'll have to pop the tabs up. It goes right here in this channel. You're gonna need to remove this. So we'll just go ahead and set that off to the side. And now all you gotta do is get it right in here, pull up with one hand and just release this. So you'll do that for both sides. And what you're gonna do is just grab right under here in this opening and start wiggling out. So once you got this wiggled out, we can kind of tilt them up. And what helps is by pushing this rubber piece back a little bit. As you can see, it's free now, and we can set this off to the side. You're gonna wanna set this somewhere where it's not gonna scratch your paint or anything. So now we can start working on taking the headlights out. Okay, so now we can start to see, we're at our main part to be able to work on the headlights now. So what we have going on here, we have 2 10 millimeter bolts up here. We also have this 10 millimeter bolt, it's a silver one on the side. These ones up here are black. We have this Phillips push tab here in the top corner. And then straight down right here, we have a T30 Torx bolt. So once we get those out, we'll be able to pull out the headlight. So let's start right here with the T30. Okay, so now that we've got all the hardware out, as you can see, it's a little loose. So now we can remove the headlight from the vehicle. First, what we're gonna do is go ahead and just put your hand up here and support this. And you wanna pull this harness off in both these tabs off the stock housing. And this is only on the driver's side. So then what you'll do is you'll grab up on this top corner and just lift the tab and it'll slide it forward. Then you can just wiggle it right on out. Now there's a pin that sets this right here and you can just do that. And then now we can unplug this and our stock housing's out. Let's go grab the new ones. Okay, so we've got our new housing here, and you'll notice a couple things. We do have, you know, just the same simple plug and play OE connector, beam adjusters, and this box. This box is so your turn signals flash properly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna peel this off, and this is gonna get stuck right in back over here, out of the way of anything. That way the headlight doesn't contact it and it doesn't have any issues mounting into the vehicle. So for right now, I'm just gonna set this right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this connected here to our connector and get it set in place so we can find a good spot for that resistor. And then this will slide in right over here. You can line up your locator pins right there on the side and then slide this in up over here. And make sure everything lines up. So we have still the same slots for the connectors right there and right there on the bottom one. That way everything goes back to where it needs to go. And then we'll secure this down right here to the vehicle. That way it's not bouncing around or anything. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get all our bolts back in, we'll get the whole vehicle back together, and we'll check them out. Okay, so we've got the truck all back together, headlights are in, looking great. The last thing we need to do is adjust the lights. And for that, you'll need a Phillips screwdriver. Now, if you look on the back side of the light right here, you'll see like a little bottle cap. And there's a groove that you can put your screwdriver in. And you'll spin this left or right, whether you need it to go up or down. And you do this on a level surface, 25 feet away from a wall. Best way is to match it up with your OE beams if you've marked them off and you're doing this in your driveway because it's on a slope. And you generally want to do it on a nice, smooth, flat surface. So, last thing that we need to do is go ahead and close the hood. And we can check out the functions of the light. And remember, don't get left in the dark.